You're listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Welcome everyone to Cult of Campbell. I'm Ty.
I'm Eric.
I'm Ben.
I'm Bailey.
And today we are watching Running Time.
Running Time,
Who here has heard
1997.
of Running Time?
Nobody.
This was a first to me.
Nobody. Yeah.
Ever.
It was a first for me as well.
Bruce Campbell hasn't heard of this movie if you ask him about it.
Bruce Campbell is actually very proud of this movie, I guess. He says it's like one of his favorite movies he's been part of, I guess.
Aw.
He did really well.
So he should be proud.
Yeah.
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 He did really well on it. Yeah.
I think so.
Cool.
Who else is it? So this was Bruce Campbell, of course. This is why we're watching it on Cult of Campbell.
Yeah.
But who else? There's some familiar names in it, I think. At least one.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was directed by Josh Becker, he's done.
We watched him in Alien Apocalypse.
Yep.
Lunatics.
I guess he was also
forget.
on the set of Evil Dead too.
Oh
Yeah. He's one of the Raimi guys.
Yeah.
Peter
Hercules and Xena. He directed a couple of those.
Oh, yep. Peter Choi also worked on the screenplay, and I guess it looks like he's got a story by credit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Josh Becker was also a producer. So is it Jane Go? Not Doe.
Django.
G-O-E.
That sounds like a fake name.
I know.
It's a little sus. That name's a little sus. Maybe Django wasn't as proud of Running Time as Bruce Campbell is.
But she thought Jane Doe was a little obvious.
Yeah. She's like, I'll mix it up a little bit. I don't want to be cliche.
This guy.
And of course, we're starring Bruce Campbell
The man.
along
Yep.
with Jeremy Roberts, who I'm not familiar with.
Nope.
So I just had an epiphany the whole time I was sitting watching. I was like, where did I recognize this guy from? And I'll be damned. He is the doorman at the club, the Coco Cabana Club
Oh my gosh.
of The Mask.
Oh, jeez.
What?
And that's
How
what
you
I have
recognize him?
absolutely no goddamn idea how I
Wow.
recognize this guy. But I was just like, I know I've seen him someplace before, and I
my
just checked his filmography, and
God.
that's literally it.
You're like, bing, there it is. Holy
You watched The
cow.
Mask that much where you ever recognize the doorman?
Or you just
I
that
mean,
good with
so
faces,
so I have seen it quite a bit, but I am good at faces.
Okay.
So both of those work together.
Man.
Now, it was pure memory that pulled out the Coco Cabana Club.
Nice.
Yeah, wow.
I actually want to watch that movie again recently.
Oh, it's fantastic. It holds up remarkably well. Cuban Pete is still a great dance number.
Jamie Kennedy has a podcast. Like it's a YouTube. I don't know if it's a podcast. I watch him on YouTube.
It's
But
a
he's-
podcast if it's on
He's
YouTube.
been doing this series he did like last summer. It's like 5 parts, but it's like the Son of Mask. Like him talks about why he did it and
Oh.
stuff, and like all the trial and tribulations.
financial
of it. Really good.
obligation.
Yeah, well, he talks about like it was when it was first conceived, it had a lot more promise, and like he kind of goes through how it just all kind of just fell apart as it went on.
Oh,
like when it was first
no.
pitched to him, it was this
God
big like
damn,
legacy
man,
sequel, and going to be this big like blockbuster movie that he was going to be heading up, and then like as it went on, just kind of things deteriorated. It's very interesting watched if you guys have time. I think the whole thing is like maybe like
Good
40
God.
minutes. I think
That
the
would be
whole-
like talking to somebody that was around during the fall of Rome when they're like, I was there at the peak and then I got to watch the whole thing decline.
it's wild.
I mean, how far did that fucking script fall?
It's
Yeah,
pretty
really.
wild. If you watch it, it's like I said, it's like 40 minutes, like the whole thing. It's like 4 parts, but it's really good to watch. If you guys
Oh, I'll watch it.
have time.
I'm curious.
It's pretty interesting. He does a couple of those videos where he talks about like Scream 2 and Scream 3 and stuff like that, like how he got involved in those.
Got
and
cheated.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Poor guy.
They cheated the shit out of him in Scream 2. I'm sorry. I like Scream 2 as well.
Oh, I love
Like,
Scream 2, yeah, but
I I do too. I actually think Mickey was an awesome killer. Timothy Olyphant's a hell of an actor, but man, they killed Randy off way too
I kind of
early.
wonder if they just weren't like if they weren't anticipating a third movie because I don't know. I feel like
Well, I mean, you can kill
Randy
him in
is
the
one of
second.
those-
I don't have
Randy's
a
one of
problem
those
with the fact that he
legacy
died. You can kill him in the second one. That's fine. But he died way too early in that movie.
Yeah, agreed. Because he's
so
like
running time.
running time. Back to running time. So
He
Running
didn't have enough
time. Is there a budget on this thing?
Oh, that's
Do we have a budget on this?
was
I'm not seeing
$10.
one on the,
I
on the
can't
page,
imagine.
to be honest.
It probably wasn't much, But location. They had some good locations.
They
yeah.
did.
Oh, and we also aside from Bruce Campbell, there's another name in this. What's his name?
Yes.
Shit, what's his name?
So
Art
we have
LaFleur?
we have Jeremy Roberts as Patrick. We have Anita Barron as Janie. William Sanford Davis as Buzz. Gordon Jennison
Noise?
Never heard of that one.
guy.
Noise.
As Donnie
Nice.
and Art LaFleur as the warden.
Yeah, Art LaFleur is the other name.
Yeah.
You guys are recognizing it. Anyone that has seen his face, you've seen him in something.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the most recent thing we watched with him in it, I believe, is The Replacements with Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an awesome movie.
I love The Replacements. That's a great fucking flick.
You know what makes it
One of
good?
those forgotten movies.
You know what makes it good like double feature is Major Leagues and The Replacements.
Oh hell yeah! Wow thing.
That is a phenomenal double feature. You get
Oh my
baseball and
gosh.
football, and they're both hilarious.
He was the ghost of Babe Ruth in The Sandlot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes, he
that's why I
was.
always remembered him from is that like
Yep.
He's got a crazy extensive filmography.
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
that guy's always a minor part in something.
Wow.
is he still alive? I feel like he passed away a few years ago.
he did
Yeah.
last year,
Oh
Yeah, I was
wow!
gonna say I thought it was recent.
November.
What's his last
21.
role? Oh, curiosity.
Let me see. Scrolling. 2017 Dive. He played Dad.
Oh jeez.
I thought you were
No.
going to say like a cryptic character like died. I'm like, oh, isn't that coming?
I thought it might have been like the last thing I remember seeing him in ever was like one of the Santa Claus movies.
Oh god.
Isn't he? He's one of the. Is he like Father Time movie? Remember? I
What?
think
He's the Sandman
Sandman. There you go.
Yeah,
Sandman.
he's the Sandman.
Yeah.
What?
in one of
Santa
the
Claus
Tim
2 or
Allen
3,
Santa
whichever
Claus
one.
movies.
Yeah.
Sandman showed up
Was
in
it
one of them.
Santa Claus
Yes.
3?
Yeah, and
So he
one
played
of
the
'em-
Tooth Fairy in Santa Claus.
Oh no, he wasn't Sandman. Crap.
Okay, listen.
Yeah.
I exist in a world where the Santa Claus stopped with the first one because
Yeah,
it was called
as it should,
The
as it
Santa
should.
Claus.
Yeah, agreed.
as it should.
That was-
I'm not a
Because
fan
that
of the
movie,
sequels.
that movie is a classic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I never really did. I don't think I have ever watched any of the other ones.
The second one,
I
the second
think
one,
I have, but I don't remember. Like I don't remember the third one at all, except for like the Nightmare Fuel, like fake Santa. No, that was the second one. That was the second one. I don't remember the third one at
Yeah.
all. I don't fucking remember
The
the third
second
one.
one, he had to leave the fake Santa in charge because he had to go find
Yeah.
a wife. And then
Yeah.
the third one, he had to call all of like the holiday gods together because Jack Frost was causing some bullshit because we
I
be
w-
like that.
oh my god,
And
I am terrified to look this up, but I wonder if the third Santa Claus movie made more money than the Rise of the Guardians because it's the same fucking.
Rise
Oh,
of the Guardians is a solid flick.
I'm sure it
that's
did.
so-
That's what-
probably did. And Guardians is so, the Rise of the Guardians is so much better.
It's
Yeah.
underrated.
underrated.
that's-
The fact that movie's not popular is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I know. I actually bought it for my my cousin's stepdaughter the other day
nice.
at Dollar Tree for $1
No kidding.
on Blu-ray.
You know what? I
On
have
Blu-ray.
to find that DVD.
That
Well,
just
you
seems
should
like
have
it's
told
cheap.
me. I would have
I
gotten
know,
that for.
but-
They had it on Blu-ray for $1.25. I didn't go
Holy
for it. That'd be
crap.
topic,
Oh
yeah.
man,
Ouch.
dude, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I would
I'll-
love to see another one.
They deserve
I'll
that.
check my
More
I'll
than
check
that.
my Dollar Tree again next time I go there and see if they have more.
Anyway, running time.
Yeah, running time. So, do you guys was there a budget, or do we just want to get into this?
I do
I
not.
know.
I've
Is
never
that how
had
we got
fun
there?
with it.
I couldn't find
No,
one
I never
either,
did.
and he's I'm on IMDb and I couldn't
Yeah.
find one.
Yeah, if you
Wikipedia
get
doesn't have
IMDb,
one.
all right. Well,
Probably
been a
not
while.
much.
it's been a while, but I think let's go ahead and let's get groovy.
Grab your boomstick and fire up the Delta. It's time for ACTION. Join the cult of Campbell. Groovy.
And if you're lucky a little later, I'll let you play with my
Running time. Woo!
Gotta run.
Who's seen this? Shut up, you asshole.
I'm glad you said it.
Who's
Wow.
seen this one
Ooh, it's
before?
Bad.
We've had enough of your shit, Eric.
I've never seen this movie before.
I told you there'd be a fucking reckoning one day,
This was a first for me.
and me as well.
I actually
Me as
almost
well.
thought it.
Me for.
I thought it was
So-
going to be animated at first because
The cover
the
is
cover is animated.
animated.
That cover is terrible. I hate that cover.
It looks like something out of Grand Theft Auto.
No, it's like a terrible like you can tell he was like trying to make like a cool artsy cover, but like they must I don't know. They don't know anything about compositing, I guess, but
Yeah.
I hate that cover. But the movie itself, shockingly, a whole lot less color than the poster.
Yeah,
Because
really.
I was not expecting this to be black and white.
No, neither was I. And I think I figured out why they would do that about halfway through the movie. With all those outside shots, I think that's probably the only way they could have matched the light.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
that's a little indie trick. Yeah, you make it black and white,
yeah.
and it covers the failings and also makes it look artsy.
Yeah, exactly. So now
Is this a movie
Josh
from
is
the
an auteur.
30s? That's what they think.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's be one of those
Film
classic
noir.
films. Yeah, one of those classic films. Yeah, they
Yep.
probably were like hoping it gave it a noir vibe. So I think that was kind of one
It
of the
did not.
running themes. No, I don't think so. I knew right away when the first shot when I see it
Noir
in
is
black
more
and white. I
than
was
just
like,
black and white.
Right.
It requires playing with shadow as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And
The way you
there
shape the
ha-
shadows and light.
and interior monologuing. Like it's a whole style. It's
Yeah.
not just. Come on,
Right.
guys. Now
No,
they did come close to kind of a film noir style in the tunnel scene.
Oh
Yeah.
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 That was pretty close.
That was pretty cool.
That was not bad.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of style, aside from being black and white, this movie is made to look as though it's a continuous shot.
Yes.
Made to look that way, but
Yes,
I don't think
yes.
it actually was. I mean, there's some
Oh,
there's
no.
some obvious points where
We were sitting there calling out where we thought the cuts were and stuff.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
yeah there's some like turns of the camera where it gets all blurred.
Oh
It's like,
yeah,
ah,
those
okay.
whip pans.
Yeah,
and-
there's whip pans. They
Yeah.
hope they
or like sometimes where it's just like they're straight up walking right at the camera up until their chest like blacks it out, and then we come back and we're at their back.
yeah
You know.
Yeah, there's a couple of times where I'm pretty sure he was like running up and down the same street and he just whipped the camera around when he did like a 360.
Just
Yeah,
to hide it.
I feel like they shot most of this movie behind like a strip mall or something.
No.
That's
You
why.
might be
That's,
right.
that's why I
I
was
never
getting.
thought about that. Because that's one thing Ben was on was, it's like this whole movie takes place in a 6-block radius, like the way they're traveling. Now, I will say, because I do love one takes, like those longer shots.
I know you do.
They're
I
a
know you
lot
do.
of fun.
We
Yeah.
all know you do.
I don't understand.
God knows you
It
do.
is fun
Yeah,
to
but-
like hide those cuts too. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
kind of create. Anyway, what I'm getting at
When
is
have
if
we-
you are interested in making movies, this is actually a good movie to watch because the camera tricks are so obvious and easy to pick out. It will get you thinking about it, and then you can do it better.
I'm just trying to remember.
But you can pick out the methods.
Right. I'm just trying to remember when we hit a cut in a long take. Like I know, like we
In a shadow.
discussed it. We did.
We've for a rough cut at least we've
Oh,
done one
that's
for a
right.
shadow.
Okay.
Yeah.
with
Okay,
a shadow.
because we've done.
Yeah, I
we've
don't
done
think
quite a few long takes.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably not the one that.
Oh
you're
yeah.
talking about. We didn't hide any cuts from that
Anything
one.
anything Eric's involved in, there's gonna be at least one long take.
I can't help myself.
Listen, I think
This
so.
whole podcasting endeavor has been one big long take. So
I think there was a good idea here that they just fell in love with their own gimmick too much. I told
Yeah.
Eric, like, I think if you'd have done this, if you would have made the scenes where he's like running around outside, if you'd made that more and make him like running to different places and extended that out, because that seems like that should have been a longer part of the film considering the title is running time.
yeah,
All the
not
way.
enough running for running time. In my opinion.
But if you would have taken those scenes where he's like on the street dealing with stuff, if you'd have stretched those out, made those the long take, and then when he goes into a building or he visits somebody, you just film it like a normal film to give it this kind of
Well, it helps.
stretched out feeling, like when he's running, like you kind of feel exhausted with him because you're following him every step of
Right,
the way.
Yeah, and you can feel that clock running with them.
Yeah, but just
Kind of grinds to a halt during the dialogue.
it
scenes.
does. Yeah,
It
the
does.
long take really suffers when there's not a lot of motion.
Right.
Yeah. So the best way to describe this movie is like, I don't know, like a zero budget Reservoir Dogs. because I feel like that's what they were going for. It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
Reservoir Dogs.
I
I
can
feel like
see
that
that.
was.
Yeah.
I feel like they watched Reservoir Dogs and are like, man, we could probably make one of those, and like,
We could do
Let's do
do
a-
something kind of sort of like that.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
a heist and its aftermath.
yeah, exactly. That's what it felt like. I was watching. I was like, this is a lot like Reservoir
Reservoir
Dogs.
I
Dogs.
was
Yeah, now
getting-
that you've
yeah.
said it, I can't unsee it.
Yep.
So for those who haven't seen Reservoir Dogs,
Is anyone?
Ooh,
Oh,
that
well,
is
who-
another
wow,
one
who-
we're gonna.
wow,
I was going
who-
to say
who's-
we now
who
know.
here's- yeah.
We now know what's
yeah, I was
coming
gonna
up.
say,
Don't
who
we?
here has never seen Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah.
Bailey has not seen Reservoir Dogs.
Bailey has not.
So Reservoir Dogs is a Quentin Tarantino film.
Okay.
The entire movie is about these guys did a bank heist
Okay.
and it went south and they got tore the fuck up by a bunch of police and they all meet in a warehouse and the whole movie is just them in this warehouse and shit just devolving
Yeah,
into
and
madness.
It's
one
like the
one of them is a
Complete
uh,
psycho.
well, one of them also is a plant.
Oh,
he's
he's an
an
undercover.
undercover
Oh
informant,
shit.
and you
Okay.
don't
Yeah,
know
we're
who
gonna
it is. So.
watch that.
But
We'll
it
check
is
that one
also a partner film to Pulp Fiction.
Oh, is that right?
So you know the character that cuts off the dude's ear, played by
Uh-huh.
Michael Madsen.
Madison.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Michael Madsen.
Madsen. His they never say it in actual dialogue, but I think there's a phone clip like where he's hanging up. You can hear somebody say goodbye to him, and his last name is Vega.
Yep.
And Vega is the last name of John Travolta's character in Pulp Fiction. And I believe Quentin Tarantino had originally planned to do a third film with the two of them together that was called V is for Vega,
Yep.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
but he just never did it. That would have been sweet. I'd love to have seen
Oh,
that.
hell
But
yeah.
yeah, he is actually the older brother to John Travolta's character in Pulp Fiction.
Wow, cool. Shared universe.
Indeed.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tarantino does have a shared universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like
wow.
I
Almost
think all
a
his movies
large-
take place in the same.
Yeah, a
the
large
same
section
universe.
of his movies do.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can always tell because he has his own cigarette brand and his own beer brand that shows up
Yep.
in all the movies that are connected.
Oh,
And
that's
his
cool.
own restaurant too. The fuck is it? The Special Agent Johnny Utah Burgers in a lot of his movies, which is Keanu Reeves' character from Point Break.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Johnny
So I don't know.
Utah
I don't know what the semblance
He
of
probably
that
just
is.
likes Point Break as a movie.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
this is definitely when you said as soon as you said a low budget, low effort version of Reservoir Dogs, I was just like, "Yep,
Yeah.
you are absolutely correct."
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. So it's a heist movie. Bruce Campbell plays Carl Matushka,
Carl Matushka.
and he has just received his early release from prison.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
Matushka.
As Art
That's-
LaFleur tells us, there's a lot of exposition in this movie too.
Oh my gosh.
All the dialogue is just as much as you can cram into like a single exchange of dialogue, you get all the
Yeah.
information you want.
And that's
Yeah,
that's not
seriously.
good for a long take. A
No,
long take is the very definition of show over tell.
right.
Yeah.
I would agree. Yeah, they didn't really do some of their dialogue scenes where it was a little more tense. They were playing with the camera more, but boy, sometimes they would just halt that camera and we would just sit there with the actors forever.
And you
while
can do
they
that.
talked.
You can do that if your actors are good enough.
Yeah.
That's not
So-
what was happening.
No. So
Not all of them.
Especially not in
Carl-
the van.
no, the van was rough. I didn't like any of
Yeah.
the scenes in the van.
And you know what's funny? Eric pointed out a long take doesn't really go well with the sex scene.
No.
No, because Bruce was very underwhelming in his performance in that aspect.
Oh,
He
and I'm
was
just
He was not.
Bruce was quick, man.
He was
He
not.
was.
He was not a stud muffin in that.
no
He
for,
was,
for a man who's been in prison for we assume for a while, and his first time getting conjugal with a lady. He fucking
Yeah.
he
First time getting
blows
conjugal.
it. He blows it.
Yeah, but he blows it. Can we talk about?
Uh-huh.
Can we talk about the fact that he didn't recognize her until her fucking wig fell off?
oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Why?
So I guess we need to
yeah.
get ourselves up to this point real quick
Yeah. So Carl's out of prison.
because I want to.
Art LaFleur is the what's the fucking warden, and he gives us all the exposition we need about Carl's backstory, about how he was a
Yeah.
bad guy and he came to prison. He's really good, and he's a bang up guy, and guys are released and he's out of there.
Yep.
And then we meet Patrick, played by Jeremy Roberts, who has a haircut, and Bruce uses. He calls him a faggot, and I can
Yeah.
say that. I can
You
say
can
that.
say that.
I
You
can
can
say that.
say that.
I
We're gonna
can
have to
say it.
bleep that for YouTube, though.
Yeah.
That's my word. And
That's-
It's my word.
They
I
drop
can
it. They
use it.
drop it 3 times, I think. I counted.
Yeah, a couple
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, this
Boy,
guy
the
has hair that makes him look like a homosexual. So like,
I know Eric was so
I can
trying to
tell.
play it off. He's like,
I
he's
was
talking
like,
about a bundle of sticks. I'm like, no, he ain't.
yeah.
Nope.
I was,
Nope.
No, he ain't.
I was like, I didn't really understand what was wrong with this hair, but I guess every character has to have a plot point, and that was his.
Yeah, I guess everyone's
But
got their
Patrick
gimmick.
is Carl's best friend, and I guess they
He's
had,
an idiot.
He's
Yeah.
an idiot, and so Patrick, through a very efficient exchange dialogue, tells us that
That's one way of
Carl.
putting it.
Yeah, it's very efficient dialogue in this movie. That's what I like to call it. I don't like to call it expository. I like to call it efficient. Because,
Yeah.
So-
Well, I mean, there's your version, and then there's the definition of the word. It's fine.
he tells us that Bruce got put in prison. He took the rap for Patrick, and Bruce tells him, "Hey, we're all good. We're all good." And
Yeah.
he got the van, and it's Carl's first thought after getting out of prison is, "Let's try to get back into prison." Like,
Yeah.
right.
There was at one
Seriously.
point in the film, I actually looked at everybody. I was like, hasn't he been out of prison for like 20 fucking minutes?
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Literally
in the
20 minutes?
world, because he had what? I guess there was a rush because he had fresh information. Like how much is going to change
Overnight.
Yeah, right. You couldn't even take a night.
Yeah.
for 2 cartoon bags of money.
Overnight, my fucking ass. He didn't even take the condom off after they put it on.
No, this whole movie is in real time. So
It really is. They
it's-
do
it's
treat it
70
like it's real time.
It's
Yeah.
70 minutes. It's 70 minutes. So the whole movie takes place over 70 minutes.
Dude is out
Oh
of
my.
jail for 70 minutes.
Yeah, and
But
all
before
this
that movie
happens.
ends.
That
Wow.
that is literally the problem with doing it this way.
Good
That is
Lord.
nonsense.
That
Oh.
is for a heist
Yeah.
movie. I mean, I could get like you could have like one big long take of a bank heist, but the
Right.
whole fucking movie, the plot and the planning and the execution makes
Yeah.
zero sense when shown as as one solid real time take. It just doesn't make sense. It's
Right.
impossible.
Like they could even have kept that one take aesthetic and done stuff that like did imply the passage of time, just to give the plot a little bit of breathing room. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like helps it make sense.
You could easily have done that
He
with
gets-
like newspaper clippings
Yeah.
and
He gets right in the van and he's just
Right.
ready to. But
Yeah.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh,
newspapers
yeah,
or
he
sun moving.
Yeah.
he gets in the van and he's ready.
Yeah.
And that's why they keep doing those fucking weird ass drops of dialogue. So they're trying to tell us all the stuff that a real movie would have taken time to show us.
Yep. So he's in this van and they're planning a heist. And then he's got a lady friend waiting for him in the back of the van on a bed.
his friend got him a hooker.
Yep. And that's
Yeah.
what we were talking about earlier. We had to
Yep.
sit through that whole scene, just stagnant shot.
Although good for him, he gets a hell of a handful of boob.
He does. He gets to squeeze it there and
He gets
everything.
Full blown grope. Good for him. None of that side open palm shit. Like he got the measure of the lady. He knows what to buy her for Christmas.
Oh my God.
Oh, boy, but this was the scene where I realized, you know what? Not everything deserves a one shot.
Oh, I'm
It was
so.
just
Oh,
like,
that was awkward.
well,
yeah.
I was like, Bruce, what are you doing with your arms?
Was that technically a 2-shot?
Was it?
It was like a 1-shot inside of a 1-shot.
Ew.
It's a one squared shot.
Just stop.
Terrible.
It's a 1-shot.
Terrible.
It's a 1-shot squared.
One shot squared.
But we never see that condom come off.
Nope.
No.
The camera kind of whips around to their
And he's
little
pulling his
curtain
pants
and-
on.
Yep, that's it. They
Yep.
hide their gut again. God.
Okay.
Is it
Film
possible they
students, please watch this
bamboozled
movie. We got
that he bamboozled her? Like, yeah, I'm
Maybe.
fine.
oh, totally
Maybe.
on, yeah,
Yeah, kind of one of those
No,
things.
that might be.
yeah.
Actually, I think
Maybe it's-
didn't she put it on?
I thought
Did
he
you?
put it on.
I don't remember. I think
I don't
it was
care.
all their below their waist was out of frame. So
There
who
Well, yeah,
knows?
but I think-
Yeah,
There was a lot of facial expressions going on at the
Yeah.
time. So
some concentration.
Yeah. So he gets his boink on for all of 2 seconds.
Yep. And then
didn't you say it was 5 minutes? It was a 5-minute scene.
It wasn't even.
the
Oh, wasn't
scene
even-
was
No,
not
no, it was-
necessarily the act.
Yeah.
And that's when, and I mean, they are face to face the whole time.
I
And
know.
She sits up, her wig falls off, and he's like, "Say, wait a minute."
Don't I know you?
Yeah.
You?
At this point, I was like, shouldn't he have at least been like, "Hey, we're fucking. in the back of a vehicle. You feel slightly familiar. This is all jogging memory. Like, I mean, come on. How, like, they recreated their first sex, and he's just
Oh my
like,
god, they did!
yes,
Yeah.
yes, because their first time was in the back of a car. They recreated
yeah,
it, and
that's
it
right.
wasn't until her wig fell off.
Yeah.
How cute.
Wow.
Cute.
Yeah.
Oh, you picked up on that. That's good.
It's
Wow.
pathetic.
Yeah,
it
I
really
mean,
is.
Except this time there was a condom.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. See, she did put it on him.
Oh, yeah, she would have had to.
Yep,
She
yep.
made sure that he put it on this
Wow,
time.
but she didn't know it was him.
I
She didn't know it was him either.
That's what I'm saying. I'm fully idiot to this.
What in the
No.
world? Anyway.
Oh, man. She does say,
so
hey, don't
bad.
you look familiar? Like, when they first get in the back. And,
Yeah. But then they're like, whatever. Sex time.
Can you imagine that specific? Oh, fuck you. She was even hung up on it the entire time.
Right. Yeah.
Like she had pined over
kept
him
it
for
for
years.
15 years or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kept
for
the jacket.
fuck's sake.
Yep.
She kept the
Yeah,
jacket.
it was a
man.
really weird way to introduce a romantic
Sure
angle to
was.
this movie.
Yeah. No kidding. One that they ended up leaning pretty heavy on.
Yeah, a lot more than we needed, I think, for this movie. I don't think I did not anticipate it to have just an impact on the plot later.
Yeah.
I thought it
Me
was kind of like
neither.
a little gag, and it was one and done.
Like, yeah, he's out of prison, whatever.
Yeah. And then at the end of that scene, they're sitting there talking, and then you remember that fucking Patrick is up at the front driving and has just heard all of this.
Just a curtain between them.
Yeah, the soundproof curtain.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you had to have that happen after they had sex. Like you could have done the gag, right? Like he's getting ready with this girl in the backseat, and then like she whips around, and they're like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah.
He didn't actually have
Be
to
a little
like
more
put
realistic.
like
Yeah,
so much of that. Like they literally just paralleled the exact scene that she describes from high school,
Yep. Later on in the movie. Yeah.
and oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. Like, I just don't. I don't.
Bruce
fuck-
did too.
I don't.
Yeah.
So they
I can't. Feel like I've been huffing paint fumes.
So they then move to the front of the van and say a very long goodbye.
yep.
He gets out.
Eric started waving at the screen.
I did.
He's like, "Get that bitch out! What are you doing?"
It's like nothing. She's a good actor. She's a
Oh yeah, no. Oh, we'll
Yeah.
compliment
She's
her
a good
later,
actor.
but this ain't it.
yeah, but
Yeah.
boy, was that just dragging. It's like they're not even talking about anything. They're just long goodbye in it.
There was one where wasn't there literally a scene where they were just when they were trying to say goodbye, where they were just staring at each other,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
the dude
yeah.
finally like clears his fucking throat, like
That was
get
about
out.
the same time I was waving at the screen, like, end it.
Oh my
Next
god!
thing, please.
Yeah, I will say, like, dragging is like a really good, because this movie did drag. I felt like it
There
felt.
were parts of it
it
that
was
And
really
it's
did.
70
Felt-
minutes.
I
Yeah.
know. Like when I was, because I was looking at the movie, I was like, oh, it's only 70 minutes. This is going to be an easy watch. And man, it felt like it was like 2 hours.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
It's because it's a
Yeah,
long
I
take, and you
agree.
follow every second.
Yeah.
Like,
And all the antics they did to like fill the time, like the
Oh my
fucking like
gosh.
van breaking down, like that, just so
Yeah.
stupid. Like, what is that there for? It
Yeah.
didn't do anything to further the plot other than like
So I can
it
answer
had the
that.
time.
Yep.
I can answer exactly why they blew the tire on that van. They did that for the same reason why they did their fucking
oh my
opening
gosh,
credits.
those opening credits.
Oh.
Those
Oh,
drove
because they were
God.
padding for runtime. That's
drove
why.
me nuts. Yep. You called it right then, and boy, the whole movie was just not the whole movie. I won't say that, but a lot of, especially
There
the
was-
first half, was just padding, pad. Those opening
Doesn't
credits were so bad.
Urs has the theory that the longer the credits, the shittier the movie.
You know what?
Hey,
That's why
I'm-
buying
Urs
it.
was
I
theory.
don't know that that's true,
Buying
but
it.
now that I know that that's his theory, I'll put that motherfucker to the
Yeah,
test.
I'll keep track
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
this
that's one of
put
Urs's
this
theories.
movie into evidence. Good Lord, those credits. It was literally, folks, it was just each credit one at a time on a black screen, ticking like the hands of a clock.
Oh, I
Do you
hated
get it?
that.
But,
That was
but
that
not
was
even
annoying.
not even well, because like
Yeah.
I was telling Eric, like ideally, like if you wanted to do something like this, what I think you would set out to do to keep it nice, and I'm going to use this word because you can't have it efficient. You would have it all set as like one clock, right? And each time it ticked, it would be like a new person's name or something. And
Yeah.
so
That would
it's
make
just
sense.
One clock doing it.
It
That
at
would make
least
sense.
And so you go from midnight, and by the time you're done with your credits, the clock's back at midnight.
back to midnight, and that would have been added a little more dynamicness to it.
Something.
Would have kept it a little more. Yeah.
We could try that when we remake Running Time in Bulgaria.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
Yeah, I'm
oh
cool.
my
So-
god.
Change the location.
You know what?
So fuck you, I'm on. I absolutely think I could remake this movie better than they did it. I'll say it.
And I would have a lot of fun with that.
I will
Yeah,
say it.
yeah.
I think
Oh,
I
hell,
think
let's-
if we
let's-
did it the
let's
way
write
I
a-
pitched it, I think it's a better movie.
Can
Yeah.
we get?
Let's write a bank heist movie.
Actually put cuts in the dialogue scene.
Yeah, let's write a.
That's
bank
what I'm
heist
saying.
movie.
Is you stretch out that actual running time, and you do it on the street, and that's where your long takes are.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there is a good movie in this, and we
Oh
could
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There is
want-
a good movie. I mean, I like the idea of like this guy, getting out of prison. The first thing he wants to do is go right back to what put him in there, because he thinks he can do it right this time. I think that was a cool
another
plot.
yeah.
I like that.
Another thing I think you have to do is you have to ratchet up the comedy not a whole lot. Like, it doesn't need to be slapstick, but just a smidge more. You at least have to land on Evil Dead territory, because the premise you're dealing with is so nonsensical. The dude, literally a 70-minute film because I would want to keep that.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's literally right out of prison. That's nonsense. Nobody's going to do that. So
Right.
you're starting off with a funny premise.
So you have to get it a little more ridiculous.
A
or
little,
ludicrous.
slight,
Yeah.
just a slight,
Yeah.
not a lot, but a smidge.
Enough that the audience isn't questioning, wait, he just got out of prison.
Or at least why they're not questioning why your people are so fucking dumb.
Right.
Because the fact that they okayed that junkie being on their team,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What was his role? What was he supposed to be?
he was
the
supposed
driver.
to be the
He was
getaway driver.
Getaway driver. They
Yeah,
left him
so-
with the car.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
So-
spoiler, he pawns the car.
Oh yeah, for a little bit of drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pawns the
Couldn't wait
car. He
5
pawns the
minutes
getaway
for the
car.
ride.
That's the gag with him.
Right. So you
Yeah,
play it,
yeah.
you make it a little bit more comedy oriented so that them being okay with this doesn't seem so fucking stupid.
So our team of our expert bank heist team. Every
Yep,
bank
our-
heist movie has to have the team. That's
Yep.
that's the cliche of a bank heist movie.
Yeah, and ideally you get to know these characters.
Yeah,
their
you get to
desires,
know
their
them.
individual
They're all the best of
personalities.
the best, and
This movie has no time for that.
no. There's no time in running time for them to let you introduce these characters. Other than we have a fat black guy who cracks safes, who no one gives a shit about when he dies.
Right.
You could not.
He did good though. I actually
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was
actually
fine.
enjoyed him.
He was
I'm
fine.
actually going to argue with you on that. I think Carl, Bruce's character, gave a shit because he picked up his watch off the junkie and was like,
Oh,
that
did he?
belonged to Buzz.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, and he
My
did
bad.
chew out. He did chew out his friend.
Yeah,
For leaving
because he
him.
died.
Yeah, he did chew out his friend, and he got shot.
Somebody else did
I did think it was it was funny where Buzz got shot once, dead. Bruce gets shot like 4 times and runs off. Like I was like, wow, Buzz is a little
I
lightweight.
had to step out for a phone call, so I missed that part. But it shocketh me not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Buzz got shot in the back once, dead. Bruce gets shot like 4 times all over his torso, and grabs his watch and runs off, or just runs off.
Well, they only kept the arm shot in the continuity.
Right.
Which he would have had so much more blood running down.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for
Well,
sure.
So that's a movie thing. Most movies can't afford to do blood loss the
yeah.
way it is in real life. Otherwise,
So-
their characters won't last very long.
Yeah, that's true.
So Buzz, who is our safe cracker, very short time we get spent with him.
Yeah.
We have the junkie. What was I remember his name?
Oh crap.
Donnie.
Donnie.
Was it
That
Donnie?
makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
Donnie,
Donnie.
who's a known junkie,
Donnie.
who is like
Donnie,
he's a
yep.
shit. Donnie.
Yeah.
Noise. Gordon
Yeah,
Noise.
he's a known piece of shit. They let him on their crew. Buzz gives him his watch because he doesn't have a watch,
Oh yeah.
and they leave him in charge of the getaway vehicle, which he pawns.
Oh, speaking of like another thing, like for padding, the whole gag of him resetting the watch and it's digital. Hold on, I have to
Oh,
reset
yeah.
that.
Oh my god, yeah.
That was awful. Yeah.
That was clearly just be like, hey guys, we need this to be a little bit longer to be a feature film.
Right.
Fuck it.
Like, oh,
Right.
sorry, it's set on AM. I've got to go back around.
It's like,
again.
no, you don't, because the times.
Yeah. That-
15 minutes is still 15 minutes, regardless of
Yeah. And it's like, we've already established this guy's a junkie and a bad idea. Move on from this.
Yeah. Why didn't they like, because you're talking about the padding, make it feature film, like they should have just made it a little short film. I bet
This
it
would have been
would
an
have won some
amazing short film.
awards. It would have won some awards, got some
Yeah.
notoriety. Maybe it would have like been one of those movies that gets picked up into a feature, like I don't know. It just
With
like
the
there
budget.
wasn't enough here to fill the runtime of a feature film.
Yeah.
And
But
they
this
should
really
just
would have
let it
made
be
an
a short
amazing
film.
short.
Yeah, they could have shipped it around to the short film like festivals and probably racked up
Yeah.
all kinds of fucking awards, I guarantee. But alas, they didn't.
Well, they didn't.
Doesn't mean we can't. I see a free future project in the making.
Yeah, I think so. I'm always down for traveling to Bulgaria to make a movie. I think that's always a good time.
You lost me at Bulgaria. However, if we can get Bruce Campbell to be in it,
well, I'll see what I
You're
can do.
like,
I'll talk to my people.
You'll see what you can do.
Yeah, talk to my people. But anyway, and then also we have Patrick, who is Bruce's shitty best friend.
Right. The one who's
An
put
idiot.
all of this together from the outside, kind of like according to Bruce's plan. Sorry, what's his character's name? Carl.
Carl.
Yep.
Yeah.
Carl.
All according to Carl's perfect plan. But
Perfect in its simplicity.
yeah.
Yes.
But Patrick can't quite get it right, it seems. Vouches for this junkie. He stole the vehicle that they're in, we find out. That he stole that.
Gets to
Instead
do
of
the
just
wrong safe number, the wrong safe type.
wrong type of safe.
Didn't even scope the place himself.
Yeah.
Nope, paid somebody else
Yeah.
to do it. So now that's another thing. They talked about this. Now there's another guy that knows, and then they never touch on that again.
No,
they don't.
It's
It's just-
never brought up
No.
again. It's one of those loose strings that
So it's like, why couldn't you? I just don't understand
Yeah.
why didn't they just have him scope it out and then he screwed it up? Did they think that we wouldn't buy it? Because I promise you I would have.
And I wish they would have started him out a little more competent because, like, I can't even believe that they were friends before the prison with how just bad he is.
Especially with them talking about like how they pulled off miracles and stuff.
Right.
Like how? Because the implication is that Bruce Campbell's been carrying this guy the whole time.
Right. But then it's kind of like, why would he care that much about this guy?
I refuse to believe that they had that scenario and they hadn't been caught before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that any of these guys are alive is just shocking to me. So there could not be a more bumbling crew of bank robbers.
I know.
And that's why you play up the comedy element.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lean into them because they're already basically cartoons at a certain point.
Yep.
you know?
Man,
They're already retards.
see,
Might as well make them
we're
funny.
piecing together our bank heist movie. There should be more
There we
comedy,
go.
which I think would be fun. A comedy bank heist
more comedy
movie.
in your bank heist. Yeah.
We'll
Just
make it
make
more
more
streamlined. It doesn't have to have all these fucking weird ass, bias and time bullshit.
One thing I missed. Why were they robbing the warden? Was it just because
the
he
the
just
laundry.
had the laundry?
The laundry business.
Okay, so it's just a convenient
Yeah,
actually, why not go for a bank?
These guys robbing a bank.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have shortened this movie.
No, they're
a
robbing a
lot.
prison instead. Much better.
Yeah, true.
But then
they get away with 2 whole cartoon bags of money.
That was
That's what they
funny.
get.
Just
Yeah,
stuffed full of stuffing.
yeah.
So- Tyler,
Perfectly
did you
round.
notice that they referred that when they were describing the money that they were stealing, they kept saying that it was in small unmarked bills?
Yeah,
And then
because
at
I
the end
noticed
he
when they
goes-
open it up, he goes 5s and 10s.
Yeah, but they
Right.
were expecting it to be 50s and 100s when
Yeah,
they were
but in the
describing the small unmarked
yeah.
bills. Yeah.
Yeah, when he said small unmarked bills, he goes, "It's all 50s and 100s."
We're like,
And then when they open the thing, it's all 5s and 10s.
How high do these
So-
How high do these guys think money goes?
Right. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
well, the movie's not even consistent with
Are
itself.
they
Like,
dealing
the
in
writer
$1,000
wasn't paying
bills?
attention to what he was writing.
Yeah. Well, they did the 5s and 10s on purpose. It was another fuck up of Patrick's.
Right, but it doesn't match the
Right.
dialogue.
Right. The dialogue of like, oh, it's all small. Yeah. Small unmarked bills, 100s, small ones.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
once again, you have to play up. You have to make this more of a comedy for this level of retardation to be acceptable.
And okay, so the safe room, the heist there.
How many times did the safe cracker? How many times did he say the name of the safe? He had to have repeated it at least
Oh my
15
gosh,
times in his dialogue. He's like, it's supposed to be an A4110, not an A4112. I told you to get the A4110. You didn't say it was supposed to be the A4112. He said, I told you. I mean, just over and over and over.
While also complaining about, like, well, not complaining, but just simply saying that there is not enough time for him to crack this safe.
Right, and they're like, well, just keep trying.
Yeah, go faster. That he just, like, keeps looking at them while they're arguing and looking over his shoulder and commentating.
Like, at what point do you just get up and leave? Like, not my
Oh my
ass.
gosh, right? Yeah. When
he
when
would've
you
lived.
find out that a junkie is your getaway driver, that's when you leave.
Yeah.
Ideally, that's when
Yeah, that-
some sort of safety mechanism in your brain flips over.
Yeah, it says, hey,
Danger
maybe these
for
guys
Robinson.
maybe this isn't the best crew to be part of.
Oh yeah.
So the bank heist goes awry.
Yep. Goes poorly.
Doesn't Patrick shoot somebody, right?
He does. He shoots the security guard.
Yeah,
that they
security
had gotten under their
guard.
control.
Did he die?
Just assume
Presumably.
yes.
Yeah. Then
And then the one dude has a heart attack
How
because
dumb. Why?
yeah.
You know, like why?
I
he's just-
don't know. I don't know what the hell that was about.
25 years of extra butter on his toast is why, Eric.
like I would have thought he would have had a heart attack when he was like on the phone with a gun to his head trying to buy them more.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
That would have been if you're really that prone to heart attacks.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
But also,
Well, you would
think
you would think, and that's the problem.
you would think that they would not wave pointed guns around like they do. And I'm not talking about the safety of the people that they're holding up. Like, obviously, they don't give a shit about that.
Right.
But there was at least one or two times where Patrick was motioning with his gun and he said, you need to think about it. And when he said think, he put the barrel of the gun to his own fucking head.
That's one of those fucking stupid cliche like bad guy thing. I've seen that in a few movies where like they do that shit. That's supposed to be like,
Oh
ooh,
my
this
gosh,
this guy's unhinged. Like no,
I don't
it's
even
fucking stupid.
I don't even think it was unhinged. I think the actor just wasn't paying attention to what he was doing.
yeah,
with the guns.
absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
with his prop. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't think that was scripted at all because he wasn't coming off crazy enough for that.
No, he's just a
Yeah.
dumbass. But so Buzz cracks the safe. They make away with the two big pillowcases of money, and
Should have
then-
had the big dollar bill signs.
Oh,
painted
they
on
Oh
it.
my
should've.
god,
They
it may as
should've.
well have. Yeah.
well, in our heist movie, that's what it's going to be. 'Cause that's
oh
See,
yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I'll
You
do
play
it.
up the comedy, and that's acceptable.
Yep.
yeah. Then fucking Buzz gets shot once, dead.
Yep.
Carl gets shot a bunch of times, lives.
Yep.
And runs off, and they're being chased by the police helicopters and police squads who are just out of frame,
Yep.
but they're
Just
there.
out of frame.
They're
Right.
there.
But the sound effects are
Yeah.
following them.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can hear them. They're there.
We can hear them. And they're running up the road with these two big bags of money still.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I gotta ditch these bags, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like, well, no shit, man.
And like right on the open, it's not like they're like ducking and weaving. They're just running
No,
through.
yeah.
Like they're just running like on a
They
city
wind up
block.
they wind up in a three-way intersection out in the middle of the open, just standing there with them,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yelling at each other about who's dumber.
yeah.
Well, you know, you gotta
Gosh.
let the steam off. That was a very stressful heist, so
gotta stop and
I know.
you gotta stop
vent a
and
little.
process and get some of it out.
I know. At one point, Patrick goes, "This is actually not going that bad," and you're like, "Hmm?
he's like, yeah, we
When?
got the money, right? You know?
"Yeah, it's still working out." You're like, "I don't think."
What is your idea
So-
of bad? Of it going right, then,
Yeah.
Patrick?
Okay.
No wonder he said that they can work miracles. As long as he walks out alive, he thinks it was a perfect job.
Yeah. So
Never
this where
mind
things
that a whole
get
school bus full of retarded children died on that last one. That's all good. Wasn't us. Perfect plan.
this is where things get a little muddy for me. I think I was kind of like
I was-
lapsing out at this point.
Okay,
Yeah.
so while they're having this big like argument about who's dumber and the fact that Buzz was shot and whatever, Carl says that he's going to the lady's house because she gave him the card that has her address on it.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
and Patrick is like, okay, you go there. I'm going to steal us a car and meet you there. And so Carl hands him the money because he's going to go get a car. And Carl goes and fucks off to this lady's house where he runs into the bum. And for some reason, bandages his open wound with a bum pustule rag as opposed to the fucking tie he's got around his neck.
Yeah, I know. Ben was like, use the tie. What are you doing? To this random homeless guy that just pops up out of the trash like fucking
Like Oscar the Grouch in
Thank you.
Sesame Street.
Like, here's a makeshift dirty bandage. On your way.
But he does give him a coat, which we were both like,
Oh, yeah,
that's
the
fine.
coat
There's
made
nothing wrong
sense.
with that. Have
That
him give
was-
him the coat, but have him
Yeah.
use the tie to tie off the band.
He was trying to help.
I know he was.
But
Fuck
more-
off with that rag on my open wound, though.
Which, going back to the card, do hookers carry business cards?
Don't
She did.
think
I'll
they
go
would?
out. I'll go. Listen, we live where we live. You give me about 20 minutes, I'll go ask one.
No.
I'll just find one with the McDonald's sweet tea cup.
There you go.
That's how you spot them in
Yep,
our town.
That's the
Yep,
code.
that's the trick.
But so he goes to her house, and she's all happy to see him. And they have to do this really awkwardly angled scene in the bathroom where
Oh my
they put the
gosh,
camera on the floor so you can't see the knot wound that he has on his arm.
Yeah, which you picked up. I was kind of wondering about that shot. Like, why is it like aimed up at him? But you picked that out pretty good, and they didn't show the wound once. It
So you
was,
don't have to show the wound.
unangled, because otherwise that's a pretty low moment in his life, which you usually kind of want to shoot those with the
Yeah,
downward
he's
angle.
writhing in pain on the shitter. It doesn't get a whole
Yeah.
lot lower than that.
Yeah, but we're getting this like upward power shot almost. You know what I mean? Those tend to make your character look more powerful, taller, stronger. Yeah,
I
Yeah.
still liked it. I thought it was different. I really liked it.
she kind of played with it. They did
yeah.
it they made a logistical thing interesting. So I
Yeah.
guess,
Yeah, if
when he
so-
was actually leaning
you
forward.
could do it, you could do that as long as you show the wound, right? If you find a way to show the wound, because if you don't show the wound, then it becomes very apparent that that's the reason why the camera's on the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
Yep, they're just hiding it.
But if you have that, and then you have him like say she pours alcohol on it, right? And he wrenches his arm away and turns the arm towards the camera, and there's the bullet wound for a minute. You can say, "See, we're not hiding it. It's a creative choice."
Yeah,
Ty, write that down for the short.
Yep. Noted.
it was one of the most interesting parts of the movie was him making his way to her house because they had police going around,
Right,
they
and that's
had
what I
him
said. Like
kinda
you play with that
going in
stuff.
and
That's
out
where
yeah.
your fun is. That's where the title running time comes in.
Yeah.
So that
Can we call ours jogging time?
There we go. Here we go.
Well,
Jogging
we
time.
noticed that even when he got into her house, they never shut the door. And we were expecting the whole time, every time they framed that door up, we were expecting like police or someone to come through it. And it never happened.
Well, we kept
Right.
overestimating their budget.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause this movie, like, they had to have it had to be a couple thousand. I bet. I'm willing to bet.
You think so?
Yeah, I would
well, I
have.
guess
I don't know.
yeah.
They filmed inside of a prison area, and they showed a
That's
lot
true.
of that outdoors.
Yeah.
That's true.
They had to pay quite a bit to film out.
I'm
To film with those
gonna
situations.
say 40 grand.
40 grand.
I'm gonna say 40 grand.
Although it was funny, I knew
You
it
got
was
Art
gonna be-
LaFleur.
I knew it was going to be kind of cheap because
That's
when we started watching it, you can actually, if you pay attention to the camera frames, you can tell when the camera guy's walking. Not only can you tell when he's walking, you can tell when it's left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, and that completely tore. Like once I noticed that, I was all done with that opening scene. In
Oh,
in
yeah.
prison.
He
I was
just
just
was
like, check it
counting
out,
steps
left
each
foot,
time.
right
Yeah.
foot, left foot, right foot. I was like, damn it, why?
Yeah.
Steady that shit up.
One neat thing that we did end up noticing was that her apartment, they hit a cut every time we went inside and every time we went outside of the apartment.
Yep, the exterior.
And
was-
honestly, if they had hidden those cuts better, I actually would have fallen for it.
oh, I would have
It
too.
really did.
But
Yeah,
they had
the
a
two
particular
sets were-
style of hiding cuts that once you notice it
It's
becomes
just
very
yeah,
apparent.
yeah.
Those,
it's
those whip
glaring.
hands, they like to just do those. Like every
Yeah,
time you
those
see one,
whip
it's like
hands, and then they'll just shove you right into somebody's body for a split
Yes.
second,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
yeah,
There's one whip pan. It's when they're in the van and they whip out to show the crew guys getting out of their cars, and you can actually see the camera tilt to the left, building up the momentum to whip right.
Oh,
no one will notice that. Put it in.
Heave ho!
Yeah, you can tell. Because it had to be that he was in a funky angle sitting with
Right.
that van, and so he didn't have his full body to turn, so
Yeah.
he just had to heave it.
And it was the 90s, so it must have been a pretty big camera. to
Pretty
be
chunky
on.
oh,
boy.
I'd imagine, yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, there's a couple of things
So,
like that.
so did they already
Yeah.
find out that what's his name fucking pawned the van?
That was also on his way to her house.
yeah,
Yeah, I was
because
gonna
I was
say,
in the
yeah.
bathroom when that happened.
Yeah.
Or no, I was
yeah.
out taking a phone call, not in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Why'd I say bathroom?
And we did see the see the junkie guy. It kind of pans back, and we see him making his deal. Just happens to be right at that moment while Carl is on the corner watching from a distance. He walks up and just kicked, I won't even say, it's not kicks the shit out of him.
He knees the shit out of him.
Yeah, he
Just has him by the collar with his good arm.
And at the end, it was like a period at the end of every sentence.
Yeah. Da-da-da, boom. Da-da-da, boom. Da-da-da. Then he finally does kick him when he falls to the ground. But it's like, why are you letting him?
It was like 4 times. Yeah, I was like, how many times do you going to let him do that signature move? I think you can stop it.
It's like, Rhett, just step back. I don't know. Like, he's holding your jacket. Stop it. But he gets the watch back. Poor Buzz's watch.
Oh, geez.
Because time stuff.
Yep. Time is a common thing in this movie.
Yep.
It is fucking not. They took forever on some of this shit.
Yeah.
So that's right. Now we get back to, and I'm sorry, so the acting inside of this woman's apartment was great. The scenes were just so
Yeah, so
boring.
here's where we'll get into some compliments.
Yeah.
Bruce overall does really well.
Yes.
Oh, we passed up my nugget of gold.
We did.
So
Okay.
There was a nugget of gold to be mined from this.
And it was in the awful first half.
It was in the awful first half.
Yeah.
So when we meet the crew and they're all having their chit chat inside the van, there is a scene. There's a moment where the junkie gets really pissed off at Bruce for a ridiculous, that whole setup was stupid.
Yeah.
I think he said, what'd he say? Do you think you can wait 5 minutes or something like that? It's something very innocuous.
Right.
And the dude just gets all up in his face and starts ranting and raving. And Bruce just stares him in the face very coldly and very calmly and just says, sit down. And what I've been saying through this entire Campbell excursion that we've been on is I would kill just to see him play a villain, a serious villain. No comedy, no machismo, no, none of that shit. Just like a straight up villain. And right there, for just that one line, he's staring this dude down and just tells him to sit down. There it is.
You saw it.
I see what could be.
Yeah. So and Ben did call that moment out in real time. He said, that's my nugget of gold right there. Yeah.
Yep. I said that right there is going to be the one thing I take from this movie that's going to keep me warm. Is that I'm almost 100% certain that I'm correct that Bruce Campbell would play an amazing straight villain.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I would agree.
Man,
he does a good maniacal villain.
Oh man.
Yeah, but
Assault
I'm
on
talking
Dome 4. Jesus Christ.
But I know
that
what you
was,
mean.
But just straight sinister.
Yeah.
I want to see more of what I saw in Assault Dome 4. I'm so mad that he wasted that performance on that fucking movie, but because it was fucking fantastic.
He was a James Bond villain, basically.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Just spouting off fucking poetry and shit, and just killing people for no fucking reason. But
yep,
wasted it on that fucking movie.
But also the I'm gonna
Anita
Baron.
Yeah,
she did really well. She did good in this.
Yeah,
and she had. So Bruce says he's going to take him with her, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Like
take
run
her
away
with him.
Me. Yeah,
She's
I'm
gonna
on the run.
You
But
got
we're
it,
gonna
you
have
got
money.
Yep,
Run
and
away
she
with
agrees to go with him because she's been pining for him all her life, and they had this little back to do about how he threw baby batter in her without a condom, and she was mad at that.
And then
Threw what at her?
And he never talked to her after that, and he's like, well, you're a cunt because I did. I wrote it in your book. And she's like, oh, I didn't read that. And he's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, I forgive you. And he's like, come away with me. She says yes. And they
I don't know. She clearly couldn't read the writing because she said it's sunny. See,
Yeah.
I know, but then when she goes to close the book, she goes, I didn't see that before.
yeah,
So I don't. It's another double redundancy, kind of like the Small Bills thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But he goes out to meet Patrick, and Patrick's like, this bitch isn't coming with us.
right.
And I was like, why is he making the decision?
Yeah,
Right,
really.
yeah,
He's been fucking up this whole movie.
Exactly.
And for some reason, Bruce acquiesced, sort of. I mean, he doesn't. I'm pretty sure you could strong arm him into doing it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously.
I think if Bruce would have just looked at him and be like, fuck you, she's coming with us, or you're not even getting the money. What now?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he'd be like, well, okay.
Right. Yeah. Because that guy was simping over him pretty hard at that point. He's like, no, it's just better with just the two of us. It always works out better.
I know.
You
It was
know,
almost, one step further and he'd have been fighting for Bruce Campbell's zipper.
Right. Seriously.
I don't know.
Right.
Well, Bruce did call him a couple words. So I don't know.
Tyler.
Maybe he
Ty.
got a little more.
Ty, control yourself.
Bruce was very nice in this movie. I will just say.
Bruce is great in this movie. That's the that's the golden nugget here. Is this? If it wasn't for Bruce, it wouldn't have been.
Oh my God,
worth watching.
Yeah.
But she hears the car take off, and the audience is meant to believe that they're abandoning her.
Yeah,
but the problem is that this movie's entirely a long take, and the camera stays with her. So obviously, that's not the case.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, well, he left us too. Like, what are we? I was like, how are we going to catch up to him in the camera? And Ben's like, he's coming back. Like, it's just, So then, and he's right.
She has this moment where the camera's just on her. There's no other actors, and she's in this room by herself, and she's putting the clothes that she had packed away. And then she starts crying. And I think she did really well in this scene. By yourself in a single take, an emotional scene. That's tough to pull off.
Yeah.
And I think she did pretty well.
I think so too. We've seen Bruce do it with scenes where it's just him in the room and he's interacting with just the environment around him.
Mm-hmm.
And she definitely held up with him.
And I might even argue that what she did is tougher because body comedy for people that are good at it
comes pretty naturally.
Easy.
Yeah. Whereas like sitting there.
It's a rare talent.
Yeah.
But those that do it tend to slide into it pretty easy.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Getting yourself to be emotional and crying. And I mean, it was a long scene, so she had to start with kind of you followed her from the realization that they left to it building to her all the way up to her breaking down and crying, and that slow emotional build is tough.
Yeah.
She looks genuinely distraught when she's turning around going back into the apartment.
Yeah.
So
especially when you take into account that the premise is they've seen each other for the first time after 15 years. And she sold that ridiculous setup for their romance to begin with. It was very believable.
So well done for her on that scene. That scene, I enjoyed that scene. I would watch that scene again.
Yeah.
And it built Carl up so well.
It did.
When he came back, because he's like, he's hugging her and is like wiping her tears away. Like, I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere without you.
Yeah, it did make his return better because she clearly felt lost. She didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And for him to show back up was just like the North Star coming back.
It
was cute.
And she pulled off, when he walked in, she pulled off the disbelief really well as well.
Yeah. Right.
She didn't instantly just like stand up and run to him and throw her arms around him and is like, oh, thank God. Like she sat there like, wait a minute. Am I really seeing this? Like, so good on her.
No.
And he says like, I gave him the money and I'm staying with you. And when we kind of are like, okay, but what are you going to do next? Because people are looking for you, the movie ends.
Yep. They walk out and close the door. She doesn't even repack anything.
No.
He's like, don't you want to pack anything? She's like, I have everything I need right here. Door closes.
Which is cute and all, but underwear, deodorant,
anything,
shoes,
money,
essentials,
anything.
Where's your hooker money? Take your hooker money at least.
Take some business cards, bitch.
Goodness.
And that was Running Time, 1997. Running Time. And let's go ahead and talk about Running Time, our next segment.
Good, bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
All right, Running Time. We just broke it down. 70 minutes, made to look as though it's a continuous shot.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell, Josh Becker. We know those guys very well.
Yeah.
I didn't know a lot about Josh Becker until we started this show, and damn it, if we haven't seen about everything from him. It's a lot of good and a lot of bad. He is very inconsistent. It's wild how inconsistent of a filmmaker he is.
You never know what you're going to get.
You never do, because there's like Lunatics, which is a fantastic movie. Then there's Alien Apocalypse, not so fantastic. And then you got something like Running Time. But I mean, the guy is all over the place, but we've got to know him quite well. And Running Time, I guess, what are your thoughts on Running Time, Eric?
So, okay, I really liked it in the back half for the most part. The beginning was a little tough just because of all the dialogue. So the movie itself, you could feel that time ticking overall. But there was some really interesting stuff in there. I liked the premise. The chemistry between our two leads. I need to get her name nailed in my head. Anita
Baron.
Yeah, between Bruce and Anita was way better than what the writing actually deserved, to be honest. Like, I really did buy everything that they felt about each other.
Yep.
But
except for the we didn't recognize each other until.
Except for that. Like if it had just ended at
But there's
that
no way
first
to make
scene
that
there, but-
believable.
right? Yeah. So I'm pretty. It makes me want to do another one shot. So bad. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was a fun watch. Gave me
Calder Campbell goes on hiatus for 2 months, so
2 months.
we got some time there.
I mean, yeah.
Well, we got
a little bit of time.
We got a lot of
But it might be
recording during those
running
2 months.
out.
Yeah, we got a lot of fucking recording to get caught up on. But running time, I was not sure what to think when I came into it. Like when I first seen the cover, I thought this was going to be like a Reservoir Dogs that came to mind immediately when I seen the cover of this movie.
Yeah.
Well, you're not wrong.
And when I started watching it, that's why I was like, man, this is low effort running Reservoir Dogs. I don't want to say the first half was too fast paced. It wasn't. There was just too much shit in the first half, and then finally toward the later half when they kind of like we got more of a focused story of it's about this guy and this girl. I like that a lot. Like that was Bruce and the female lead. They did very well together. And I don't know if is she like anything else or one of those one-time things, but she was great. And when we got to see the emotion and stuff, it was fantastic. That there was a lot of budgetary constraints. You could tell, like they're being chased by the whole city, and you don't really see that shit. It was just off screen, all these helicopters and sirens. And it was very obvious what was happening. The black and white was a bit distracting, but I think they were maybe hoping it gave a noir feel, which it didn't. I don't think it.
I think it was just matching lighting. If where they hid their cuts, I think it would have been a much more difficult process.
Oh yeah, it even says online when you look at it, it was a decision to make. Make the.
So she's all TV.
Yeah,
all TV.
She's done a bunch of stuff I haven't really seen her in. I'll have to check out some of her movies, though. It's not a lot of movies, but she's got some. She did movies up until 2004.
Oh, wow.
Her TV career is much longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Bailey? What'd you think of running time?
I think it was a great idea that was poorly executed. Unfortunately.
Okay.
I really, really loved the performances in it, especially that of Bruce Campbell and Eileen.
Anita.
I don't know why I always can. That's a thing. And Anita and Eileen.
A little close in some weird way. I get it.
Yeah, Anita Barron. I really loved their chemistry. I loved the emotional moments that we saw. Bruce was actually like, I don't know, like he was tough. He was sweet. He was a little broken with his arm. He made me feel for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then, it was like I said, I love the chemistry. The rest of it was really distracting. But yeah, it was just like, I don't know. I feel like Patrick could have been way better. Because again, you look at him and you're like, how did you guys pull off quote unquote miracles? Yeah.
I think putting his shoes on would be a miracle.
I think so.
I think the last time Patrick was famous was when he starred in SpongeBob.
Yeah. So
Carl
I think
was definitely carrying him.
Oh yeah. And it's a good idea too to do like that kind of a shot and like do it as like a bank heist, and especially from the point of view of someone who's just gotten out of prison. Like, I don't know. Like, it's weird. It's cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, really cool idea. Not the best execution.
Right.
Yeah. Honestly, if they would have started it like the next day after he got out of prison, like literally, if you want to do it all as one continuous, like real time thing.
Start when he wakes up.
Yeah. He doesn't need to be coming out of prison first. Just, he's waking up to do the job, and you find out they're like, I can't believe you're doing this so soon after you got out.
Right. I like that a lot. That whole plot, just like get out of jail, and first thing he does is go right back to. I don't know. I like that a lot. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody like that. And like, if you're one of my favorite like bank heist movies. It's not like my favorite, but it's one of my favorites. Is Reindeer Games. You ever seen Reindeer Games with Ben Affleck?
I've not seen that movie in a long time.
That's a good one where he's like basically he gets out of prison. He gets busted out of prison by these guys he gets out of prison pretending to be someone else, and he gets wrapped up in a bank robbery thing. It's a really good movie. A lot of people shit on it for some reason, but it's really good. And it's actually a retelling of Rudolph. Rudolph Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yeah.
They follow the plot points of Rudolph.
Yeah, it's really fucking good.
Cool.
People shit on it all the time. It's got Gary Sinise and it's got Ben Affleck and some I can't remember else, but it was two I remember. But it's a really good movie. I'll watch it around Christmas time. It's Christmas flick.
And Gary
But,
Sinise is always good.
Always.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I like that plot a lot. Just like that, him getting out of prison, just jumping right into it. I don't know. It's just, I thought it was a fun thing to do. But so what do we think here as far as our groovy, not groovies? Because Bruce Campbell is going on record saying this is the movie he's most proud of. So
Yeah, I can certainly see why. If I may, I think his acting is probably some of the best I've ever seen him do. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, like he was even playing off of some pretty. Not all of his co-performers were quite so good. He was always his character was always reacting in a very believable way.
Right.
To me, he was always very much pulling it off with his acting. So like at this point, his acting ability has been honed. He's got, to me, he's pretty much at the top of his game.
Yeah, this is 97. So
yeah,
he did the Evil Dead
really
films.
shows.
They've wrapped. He's probably working on Hercules and Xena at this point.
yeah.
So I mean, he's getting some exposure and getting his really honing his skill. So what do you think, Eric? What is it?
I'm going to give it a groovy. That was some very that was a fantastic performance by Bruce.
Yeah, I am going to. So we always rate the movie. The performance of Bruce on the movie. The movie I did not like at all. I don't. There was little sparks in it where you're like, man, there's something there, but I think they were hampered by budgetary constraints and
They were hampered by them being in love with this long take idea.
Yes.
They chose the gimmick over the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Bruce kills it. I think this is I don't know if I'd be this is the movie I'd be most proud of, but this is definitely some good reel footage right here. This is some good acting reel material right here, I think. If someone ever get it to him. But I think that this is a really good acting reel material, and I think that Bruce did fucking fantastic in this. So I want to give it a groovy.
Okay, Ben or Bailey next.
This movie's terrible.
Agreed.
It's not played as a comedy enough to make sense for the stupidity of the cast. If you're absolutely in love with a long take, you have to make sure your continuity's tight, and this continuity's all over the goddamn place. The streets do not change. The streets change when they shouldn't.
Oh yeah. Transforming streets outside of the car sometimes when they would hide this or that cut. Yeah.
So things like that, like if you're going to do this, you got to be airtight with that, and they just weren't. The performances, most of them were not good. They were okay. Bruce did phenomenal, and so did Mrs. Barron.
Yep.
But
Anita, yeah.
Despite all that, I'll still have to give it a groovy because of this wonky grading system.
You get an F overall, but this little section gets an A.
Yeah, how we do it.
It's like my hands are tied by the system.
They are.
I don't know what to do.
Hey,
unlike some people, because I remember
we all agreed on it.
The last Cult of Campbell that I was a part of, people were voting not groovy for not Bruce Campbell reasons.
Oh no.
What was that?
I don't.
McHale.
I don't think you were. What was it? McHale's Navy.
McHale.
Yeah, there were people giving it. There were people giving it groovies that had nothing to do with Bruce Campbell. But it wasn't me, because I'm a loyalist to the system that we have set, whether it makes sense or not.
Hey, we all agreed on the system,
so it's a groovy. I wouldn't recommend watching this movie.
No. They can't all be perfect movies like Army of Darkness. There's gotta be some wonky shit in there. I'll agree.
This might be a theme with our director here for this, because Alien Apocalypse was the same thing.
Right?
Terrible movie.
That's the
Great
thing.
Bruce.
That's the thing. I think it's just Josh Becker is like so. Him and Bruce worked so much so well together.
Yeah,
that he just brings good performance out of Bruce. That's his That's his one directorial talent. He can get a good performance out of Bruce. Because how many other movies have you ever seen that he's done that don't have Bruce in them?
Oh my gosh!
Not that we would seek him out. We're not doing the fucking Cult of Becker or anything like that. But
shut up.
I don't think that's not going to be the spinoff. I'm not going to
be super niche.
Yeah, oh my god! You want to talk about niche?
I guarantee you, we get to hear from him.
Yeah. Okay, Bailey.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a groovy for Bruce, not for the movie. Just because, like, I like just sitting there. Okay, like Eric and I, we've done so many long takes. Well, not so many. We've done like 4 or 5.
More than your average bear, I'd say.
Yeah. So like I'm just looking at it and looking at like transitions and like when the streets change, like there's a really easy transition you could do with like a horn honking, and then like you can even still do like that camera whip flash, and or you can like show a newspaper in a diner to show that days are passing, or like even like a sunset going up and down. Like there's just so many ways to like actually transition if you want to do the long take and then actually
Right.
do cuts. So yeah, this movie, I'm sorry, you had a cool idea, it just didn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
But Bruce's performance, which is what we're going to sit here and talk about, was magnificent. I actually really enjoyed his performance, and it's also I'm also going to compliment the golden nugget that Ben found, because
Yeah, for real.
he really did not have a strong partner in that scene. I did not believe the Donnie character in what he was saying. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, someone's yelling, cool. I believed Bruce. I believed Bruce was going to knock him the fuck out if he didn't sit down.
Right. Yeah. And that's really why I thought that was such a nugget, because it shows what he can do when put in that position with somebody that can't act, or I won't say can't act, wasn't acting worth a shit.
Yeah.
So if you put him in a proper setting,
So yeah,
you got some good shit there.
I gotta give the Bruce quality a groovy, but
Well,
no.
Bruce said
it's a great learning experience movie.
Yeah.
Bruce said he was most proud of this movie, and we gave it a certified groovy. So
That is a certified
there
groovy.
we go.
Yeah.
And Josh
Because
Becker,
we love you, Bruce.
yeah, we do. And Josh Becker,
Yeah.
looking at his career, like he has not done much aside from directing things that Bruce is involved. So there's a sci-fi movie that's apparently a Stan Lee movie he did, which was shot in Bulgaria. This is called
You're lying.
Stan Lee's
God.
Harpies. Stan Lee's Harpies, directed by Josh Becker. Movie shot in Bulgaria, starring Stephen Baldwin.
Oh my gosh.
Why does that sound so familiar?
What,
It was on the
Harpies?
Sci-Fi Channel.
It's a Greek.
It's a
I
mythical.
was going to say,
Yeah.
the movie does not sound.
No.
I don't know. Maybe my dad might have had it on at one point in time, because he would
Oh,
just leave the
no.
Sci-Fi Channel on and like
Good
it'd
man.
play
Good
all
man.
day.
Good man.
I
Good man.
might have caught some of it.
And
I don't know.
Well, not enough. So
Oh, definitely not enough to remember it.
he didn't catch enough.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
But Bruce hasn't
Okay,
done
you wouldn't
much
have known what you
aside
were
from.
looking at.
But he was in Mosquito, which is like one of my favorite like '90s B movies.
Ooh,
You ever seen that one?
Mosquito.
You ever seen that one, Ben?
movie?
Mosquito and ticks, man. Those are,
Yeah,
There's
Mosquito's
really a
great.
movie
I
called
bought Mosquito on
Oh, yeah.
Blu-ray. Like
Oh, yeah.
Tix has got fuck, who is it? It's got
dude, I don't fucking remember.
it's got fucking Carlton. Carlton's in that. Carlton
Oh, from
and
Fresh
Seth
Prince of
Green. Yeah,
Bel-Air.
and Seth Green.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like one of Seth Green's first
I-
movies.
I don't remember ticks as well, but I remember
No.
the shit out of Mosquito.
Yeah, I love Mosquito. I got that on Blu-ray. I watch it every now and then. Like it's a comfort movie if I throw it on. When I was a kid, I used to be terrified of like camping and shit because of that movie.
That was actually one of my favorite. That was one of my earlier monster movies.
Really?
Yeah,
That
same.
was Mosquito.
Yeah, see,
It's not
me
one
and
I've heard
me
of.
and Ben always find some common ground somewhere.
Well,
There we go.
we have
Yeah.
a common ancestry.
Yeah,
There we
it's
go.
just
I
mine
grew
got
up
a little
to
more
walk on land
refined.
and you stayed in the
Mine
ocean.
refined a little more, and yours kind of devolved. But my
Once
take,
again, you keep using these words. I don't think they mean what you think they mean. They're laughing because you couldn't see my face. I was looking at the computer like it had just called me a different species.
Oh my gosh.
But there we have it. That's Running Time, 1997. Josh
Time.
Becker, Bruce Campbell joint. These movies always turn out to be very divisive, but always somewhat fun for some reason. So Yeah.
They-
It's always fun to rip them apart.
yeah, and it's like you have Josh Becker's like kind of poor filmmaking, but then you have this like excellent performance that gets out of Bruce Campbell, and it
Yep.
just makes this very weird combination. It's somehow enjoyable. So
Yeah. It's a very confusing mess. Just a lovely confusing mess.
yeah, they are the odd couple.
The odd couple. Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
It somehow works in the end.
I mean, yep, they came out certified groovy
Yeah,
for this.
it comes out where we're like, this movie's awful, but goddamn, Bruce is fucking fantastic. Like, it comes out. It's how it
We were generous.
Yeah,
This is a hell of a loophole we've developed.
This was very generous.
it's the Becker effect. It's
No,
all-
it was,
effect.
it was the fact that you started with this
Oh.
is Bruce's most proud movie, and I'm like, oh, shut up.
No, it started when he went, okay, so Certified Groovy reflects only Bruce, not the movie
we were-
itself. That's where
Michael camped with that. Just saying, and we
Okay.
we all agreed upon it. So
Well, why are we letting Michael's tisms dictate how we do things?
Tyler, we're gonna have to run a study into
Yeah.
the Becker effect.
yeah,
That means
it's
you
a
gotta
Becker
watch
effect.
more-
Very interested in that.
Have fun.
Well,
Yeah, we'll watch
That's a
Becker movies.
fun project
We'll
for y'all.
watch
God.
movies with Bruce in them.
there's the spinoff, the Becker effect.
The Becker effect.
Yeah.
No. Hard pass.
Ooh,
There
what
you
about
go, you
the
have it,
Raimi
guys.
effect?
That was the Certified Groovy 1997 running time. I don't know if I would recommend checking it out, but if you can find some clips of Bruce's performance, check him out because he is very solid. It's very sincere.
Yeah,
You
very
can tell he was
sincere,
taking it
true
very
performance.
serious. So,
Yeah.
great
Yeah,
stuff.
there's a
in
couple of reasons to watch this movie. Entertainment isn't one of them. Again,
No.
if you are, like, I'm serious, if you are an aspiring filmmaker and don't know much about camera work, this is a good one to watch because you'll be able to pick out the tricks they do. And then again, just do them better and it'll work out. Blend it into your scene a little bit more and don't do the whole thing in one shot.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
try to do it in one shot, or make
Yeah.
it make it
Don't
look
go
like it's
over
one shot.
7
I don't-
minutes. It's hard.
Long
Yeah.
takes are a sometimes snack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you guys follow us on all of our social medias at Cult Talk Net across the board: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all that shit. Cult of Lore comes out the first week and the third week of every month, and that is now
Yeah.
available
It is-
on podcast feeds.
Exactly.
Yeah, we are
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a YouTube exclusive now. It's you can get it on your phone through Spotify or what is it? Fucking podcasts on your Apple phone. Whatever you listen to, you can now listen to Cult of Lore.
Yep. We
Through a
try to get it on
podcast
every
app.
directory that Cult of Campbell's on.
And,
course.
but there is a visual component to this, and if you want it, that's just going to have to be
That's
on
on
YouTube.
Yeah, that's
That's
YouTube
on
exclusive.
Yep.
And then, of
Yep, you
course,
get to
Cult
pick your
Talk Weird
experience.
Shit is now weekly. You
Now
guys
weekly.
can find
Every
that
week.
everywhere on Spotify and all that good shit. Every
Yep.
week, you get a weekly dose of weird shit. So,
Brand new, fresh, weird dump.
yes, every week. Every week.
Every week.
But until next time, I've been Ty,
I've been Eric.
I've been Ben.
I've been Bailey.
and stay groovy.
Stay groovy.
Hail to the king, baby.
That's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.